Okay, welcome to this video in which I'm going to show you something useful that you can do with your synth pad sounds to make them even more interesting. Okay, I'm going to listen to chords that I put in here. You can see I've got 3 different chord ideas, and perhaps I should name those. Chord 1, name this one chord 2, name this one chord 3, and I'm going to save my work, Command S, to make sure everything's up to date and saved. I'm going to use my second chord idea, which sounds like this. Good. Now I'm going to make sure I've got that track selected there. You see it's gone light grey, not this one, this one. Make sure that's selected. Then I'm going to go back to my instrument sound, and the synthesizer I chose is this one, the ES2, so I'm going to double click on it here, and this opens up that complicated looking synthesizer. I'm just going to move it over here a little bit, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller to give me a bit more room for the moment, maybe a bit bigger than that. Okay. Now, if I loop this round, you can hear that I can change the sound of this as it plays, as it moves along. And I'm going to look for the control which says cut or cut off, and that deals with the frequencies in the sound. So have a listen to the difference it makes when I move this cut off control around. That's making my sound move. It's changing the sound as we go along, which makes it a lot more interesting. Now, whichever synthesizer you've chosen, you'll need to try and find that cut-off control on your synthesizer. This is where it is on the ES2. But if you've chosen a different synthesizer, you should be able to find somewhere on it, if you look really carefully, control that says cut or cut off. This synthesizer has got 2, cut there and cut there. I'm going to use this one. Now, we're actually going to record, if you like, those changes in the cutoff that I'm making, and this is how you do it. This is where it gets interesting. This is called automating instrument parameters, and that sounds really technical and fancy, but it means changing up some of the controls on the synthesizer. So this is how to do it. As long as you've got that track selected, like I have here, come over here to what we call your channel strip, and it will say read. We want to click on that and turn it to touch. Now, everything we touch, Logic's going to remember that now. And so if I play the sound, and play the track rather, and change this cutoff as it plays, it's going to remember what we've done. Watch. There we go. If I turn it back to read, it should have remembered that change in the sound, and we'll see that control moving as it plays. Watch. So that's a little subtle technique that can make all the difference. It makes your sound a lot more interesting. And you can automate anything on a synthesizer, any of these controls, or anything on any of the plug-in instruments. We can automate like that by turning to touch, playing the track, moving the control, and turning it back to read. And that opens up a whole bank of possibilities there to get really creative. But have a go at that technique. If you manage to do it, tick it off on your workbook and move on to the next video. Let's just listen one more time.